All right, a warm welcome to the show Sports Spring on Western Spring Television. My name is Joseph Atewa saying good morning and welcome to the show. There's a lot to talk about on the show this morning, most especially the locals and Manchester United out of the UEFA Europa League as Sevilla through to the semi-finals. It means Manchester United have failed to beat Sevilla in 5 previous meetings. Welcome once again to the show. And
top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Friday edition of Sports Spring on Western Spring Television. I am Nengi Ernest Ademola, and definitely we'll talk about the weekend fixtures to expect in the English Premier League as well as other leagues. And aside from that, I would also talk about the Nigerian Premier Football League and the CAF Confederation Cup. We have a big weekend ahead of us as our sole representative, Rivers United, will take on the young Africans of Tanzania. All the best to them. Well, we'll start off from the Nigerian Premier Football League and talk about some of the fixtures to expect during this weekend. Now, in Group A, first and foremost, we'll see Bendel Insurance take on El Kanemi Warriors. And definitely Bendel Insurance top on the Group A log. 13 match or 14 match, if I'm not mistaken, unbeaten run for them. And El Kanemi Warriors currently walloping in the relegation zone for Group A with just 9 points to their name. So that's the very first match we'll see for this weekend in the NPFL. And Enyimba United will also take on Ramos Stars. Definitely a very nice game to expect this weekend. Enyimba United in the Group A are second on the log. Meanwhile, Ramos Stars occupy the 5th position in the Group A log. We'll see how things pans out to be by the time the log hunt. Aside from that, we'll see Plateau United take on Nasra United and Shooting Stars against Gombe United. Let's move over to Group B fixtures for the weekend. Now, for Group B fixtures, we'll have Dakada FC take on Enugu Rangers. Joseph.
And of course, Bayelsa United will travel to take on Doma United. Niger Tornadoes versus Abia Warriors. A battle between Sunshine Stars and Lobby Stars. While Rivers United will trade tackles with Wiki Toys.
And pertaining that particular match, Wiki Tories versus Rivers United, that match has been postponed. Of course, I did make mention of the fact that Rivers United this weekend will take on the Young Africans of Tanzania in the CAF Confederation Cup. All the best to them. And let's talk about how Group B table stands right about now. Lobby Stars are occupying the very first position in that one, 26 points, followed by Rivers United FC with 23 points. Doma United third on the log with 22 points. And Dakada FC, who are playing this weekend against Enugu Rangers, are currently in the relegation zone and 9th on the log with 11 points. Wiki Tories, who were supposed to take on Rivers United, who are second on the table for the Group B, are currently 10th, if you talk about position in the Group B, with just 9 points. All the best to each and every of the NPFL team. Definitely, we have just 4 matches to wrap up the 2022-2023 abridged league and move further. So all the best to both Group A teams and Group B teams.
From the NPFL, let's move to the continent, where ahead of the 4th leg quarterfinal against Nigeria's Rivers United, Young Africans of Tanzania have landed in Lagos. The Tanzanian side topped their group with 13 points and qualified for the last 8, while Rivers United are finished in the 2nd position in Group A. Young Africans departed Dar es Salaam, the capital of the country, on Thursday morning via Ethiopia Airline en route to Nigeria. They landed in Lagos in the evening and quickly moved into the hotel where they will stay until Friday, which is today, before proceeding to the Godswill Akpabio Stadium, the venue of the game. The second leg is slated for the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Tanzania next weekend. I beg your pardon. The winners in the 2-legged matches will proceed to the semi-finals of the competition.
And just to add to that, we do understand the fact that Rivers United are also representative in the CAF Confederation Cup, and all the best to them. Of course, they have come this far and not to lose this particular match, most especially against their opponent this time around this weekend. And just to add to that, the head coach and person of Stanley Guma has emphasized that the Tanzania team is very much beatable before Rivers United CAF Confederation Cup League quarterfinal matchup with the Young Africans. Now, Rivers United have spent the last 4 seasons hosting Africa's elite, and in that time they have rattled up some famous wins at home, victories against AS Bamako, Alkmarik, Wydad AC, Al Nassr, Motema Pembe, and also ASEC Mimosa. They represent arguably the club's finest moments on the continent. And in the build-up to Sunday's first leg, tie at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, Eguma admits he is expecting to face a different side from the team he led to victory home and away in 2021, and is an entirely understandable view. Now, the young Africans were beaten at their own game on their own surface, 0-1, and in Port Harcourt 1-0 the last time out, with goals from Moses Omodumoke and Uche Onwaswanya. And the result leaves United in touch in the tie, so a philosophical Eguma sees Sunday's tie as a telling stamp in his footballing passport. And in his words, and I quote, "We're not relying on past performance. No two games are the same. I understand that Yanga SC has rebuilt its team and they are doing well this time around in the domestic league. They also topped their group in the Confederation Cup." And he added, "We are not looking at what we achieved from them the last time. We are trying to push ourselves more than our capacity." Definitely, that's what the focus should be on. And just to add to that, of course, the Rivers United boys held their very first training yesterday at the Godswill at Babio Stadium. All the best to them, even as they take on their opponents this weekend.
Well, it's a big game for Rivers United. They must win if they want to scale through to the next round. But they have a tall order in young Africans. The last time they met, just as Eguma stated, the Nigerian side were victorious over 2 legs, and that's what we're hoping rather to replicate this time around. But it's a different young African entirely, because they've improved from the previous season and even the last 2 seasons. So Stanley Eguma knows the task ahead, and that is why he's saying his boys will have to give in their 100% performance if they want to get a win in this one. And they know fully well that traveling to Dar es Salaam to take on the young Africans at the Benjamin Stadium might be very difficult. So what does that mean? They have to get the needed result here in Nigeria, and at least have 1 foot in the next round of the competition.
And definitely, when you look about when you talk about football across, even in the EPL, across all top leagues, definitely when you get your home games, you have to do pretty much well in your home game before traveling out for the away game. And let's move away from the CAF Confederation Cup and talk about grassroots football. Let's talk about the Nationwide Ligue 1. Now, the fixtures for the 2023 season of the Nationwide Ligue 1, that's for Division 1, has been released by the league organizers on Thursday, 20th April 2023. That was yesterday. The NLO, in a letter signed by the Chief Operating Officer, Shola Ogunowo, confirmed the opening match for the season, which involves Kano Pillars and Kwankwasia FC at the Sani Abacha Stadium, Kano, on Wednesday, 3rd May 2023 at 3 p.m. Now, before the kickoff, the NLO will on Wednesday, 26th April 2023, holds a press briefing and unveiling of the new season. The details of the venue and time of the press briefing, according to the league body, will be communicated in due course to all concerned parties. Meanwhile, the kickoff of the Youth League, that's for the Under-19, holds on Wednesday, 17th June 2023, and over 153 teams will be part of the 2023 season, with the teams expected to be divided into groups. Now, there will be 3 divisions. That's NLO 1, 2, and 3 for the participating clubs. And the collection of players' license has also been concluded in the NLO. And the NLO 1 is the first division of the league, and usually the last stage for teams to qualify for the country's second-tier league. That's the NNL, that's the Nigerian National League. And after a regular season and playoff, 4 teams are expected to qualify for the second-tier league.
Many of these teams will be competing and hoping to move back to the NNL. And sadly, one of ours, Osun United, will be playing in the NLO, and hopefully they gain promotion back to the NNL. And if things are done rightly, they move to the Nigeria Premier Football League. It's been years since they played in the NPFL, and they stayed years in the second division, the NNL. So it seems things have gone worse for that team as they were playing in the NLO, which I believe they deserve better. But then thank God for this present administration, as I say all the time, not that I support any government, but then with what they've been able to do in this short time, getting them new bosses, ensuring the match bonuses are paid on time. Unfortunately, they were on the brink of relegation before this government came in. Hopefully, this will continue, and Osun United remains where they belong, which is moved from the NLO to the NNL, and if possible to the NPFL. Anything is possible if they put the house in order. And away from that, the World Soccer Ruling Body has released the pots for the draw of the 2023 Under-20 World Cup are slated to hold in Zurich on Friday. Nigeria's Flying Eagles were among the 24 countries that have secured a place in the competition. According to the pots, which was released on Thursday afternoon, Flying Eagles were placed in pot 3 alongside Uzbekistan, Japan, Honduras, Iraq, and Fiji. African champion Senegal is in pot 1 with the United States, Uruguay, France, Italy, and the host Argentina. The draw is scheduled for the FIFA headquarters in Zurich on Friday as the tournament will kick off on the 20th of May in Argentina. The pot 1 has Argentina, Senegal, USA, Italy, Uruguay, and France. Pot 2, England, Korea Republic, New Zealand, Brazil, Ecuador, and Colombia. Pot 3, Nigeria, Fiji, Honduras, Japan, Iraq, and Uzbekistan. In 4, we have Guatemala, Dominican Republic, Israel, Gambia, Slovakia, and Tunisia.
Of course, we await that particular draws to be done today, and so that the under-20 team can be able to identify who their opponents will be and prepare squarely for that particular one. Now, still on the under-20 World Cup.
Yeah, and I feel, why do I have this feeling that Nigeria will be drawn against Argentina? Because you look at the records, Nigeria's always met Argentina. Even the senior level at some point, it became a tradition. 2010, if I'm correct, 2014, Argentina as well. 18, also Argentina, you know. So just my guess that Nigeria might be drawn there, but whichever country, I believe we're ready.
And just like I said earlier on, still on the Under-20 World Cup, barely a month to the kickoff of the 2023 Under-20 World Cup, the World Soccer ruling body has released a list of match officials that will take charge of the games without Nigerian referees. I do not know if we were expecting Nigerian referees to be there because we're just trying to come up in this one. But still on the story, the hosting right was given to Argentina after Indonesia was stripped off following the political tension between Indonesia and Israel. The draw for the biennial competition is fixed for Friday, that's today, in Zurich, the headquarters of the football body. And the referee committee of the football ruling body on Thursday evening announced 25 center referees, 38 assistant referees, and 18 video match officials for the underage competition. And out of the 86 match officials listed, no Nigerian referees made the final cut for the tournament in South America. Joseph, like I said earlier on, I do not know if some people were expecting some Nigerian referees to be named in that particular one.
Well, it's a disappointment that we have countries who are nowhere Nigeria when it comes to football. You know, have the referees officiating in big tournaments like the FIFA World Cup, be it on the 17, 20 or the senior level. We should be having Nigerian referees, but thank God, with the committee led by Legbele, something has been done about the referees, and day in, day out, they're beginning to, buckle their shoes and ensure that jobs are done properly. In time past, I think what you have bribes and, match commissioners and whoever they are manipulating games and trying to see how they can bribe their way through the referees. We understand that sometimes, or most times, I should say, that the referees here are not well paid. So if a referee is offered 2 million, 3 million to ensure a team wins, it will definitely get the job done. And those are things we're trying to cut short here. And how can we get these things done if the referees are properly paid and they get their bonuses as when due? I mean, FIFA is watching. For you to get a FIFA badge refereeing, I mean, it costs a lot. And you must have gone through a rigorous process for you to get there. So hopefully in the next 10 years, we'll have a Nigerian referee. I do not see that happening in the next 4 years. And
before we go on this break, let's take time and talk about some of the matches that were played yesterday, Joseph, in the in the Europa Conference League as well as the Europa League quarterfinal second leg. I tell you for sure it wasn't a good one for Manchester United. And the likes of Roma, the likes of West Ham United are through to the next round. That's for the Europa Conference League. Pretty nice one, but then for Manchester United most especially because it was more like the biggest game we saw yesterday and it was nothing to write home about. I do not think that Manchester United were prepared enough for this game.
Well, just as the coach said every time, that they weren't prepared for the game, but the question would be, they had days to prepare for this game and it's really appalling. The performance yesterday was appalling, and then against Sevilla, for a player to have come out and Ivan Rakitic to say United will suffer at the Ramon Pidjuan Stadium. If I was a player, for making that statement, we as a team collectively will do everything possible to ensure that you are beaten and well beaten. As I remember, what's the name right now, the coach of Manchester and the former coach Alex Ferguson, they had a trip, was it to, I can't remember right now, I think they had a trip to Allianz Arena and Iron Robben. That was where we had the robbery gang of Iron Robben and Frank Ribery. I think altered some statement, we got to Alex Ferguson and they went there, they defeated Bayern at the Allianz Arena, they did their job, and that's the spirit we need at Manchester United. What you have at Manchester United right now, forget the way the British media hype players, they're all bunch of average players, honestly, and that is what is gradually showing right now, that United does not have what it takes, to to make it count. And it gets worse because next season, Chelsea gets it right with the manager. Trust me, they will bounce back.
How about Liverpool getting it right next season?
They're already getting it right already, and they will come into the party. You look at Arsenal having those young talents, maybe recruit 1 or 2 talented players there. They will also be on the map. You have Manchester City who will definitely be there. Tottenham maybe will still be the average team. So United still have a long way to go. What I saw yesterday was a disgrace. And to be honest, I really don't know what they're still doing, what they're doing with Harry Maguire. I really don't know how he makes it. Sometimes when I watch Maguire play, I regret that maybe if I'd gone through some coachings and trainings, I'll probably have been playing for Manchester United right now as a defender, because I watched him play yesterday. And all I could do was to shake my head and say, what a player, honestly.
And who told Harry Maguire that football is a career path for him? We'll be right back. Let's see some of the match highlights, definitely that were played from yesterday.